Alright, fuckers, welcome back to what the fuck am I doing? Form wrapping. Warming up because I'm garbage. I'm doing form wrapping, which is essentially wrapping planes around the contour lines of a form, right? I'll try explaining it again while I draw it. Also, I'm taking a huge risk today because I have, 14 gigs left of storage on my phone, and a video takes about 12. So we'll see if this shit randomly shuts off and I lose my entire video. Well, I won't lose shit, but we'll see. Anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, give me engagement. I said, give me engagement. I understand that my retarded voice sounds retarded, and it's hard to understand. So that's why I like to do translations. But anyways, let's get to it. Let's draw, right? And I'm going to focus purely on making as many errors, right? Errors as possible, right? That's what helps with learning, as well as just trying to make as much of a concentrated effort as possible. And I'm actually like, when I do this, because I'm looking back at this, I've realized there's not much symmetry. So I'm going to try focusing on having consistent symmetry with these spherical form wrappings, right? That should help with at least a general understanding of a form, right? So yeah, let's get started. So I've already done something like this, something like that maybe. Biggest thing I want to do is just keep it together, as they say, right? See, that's a bit better, a bit more consistent, because at the end of the day I am wrapping it around a sphere, right? So if that's my sphere and this is how I've wrapped it, then I can do something like let's do something like this. It's not perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect, but I'm just trying to get the general shape language across. So maybe something like that. Biggest thing I want to focus on right now, as I said, is symmetry, right? Okay, like obviously the lines there were really wonky. And is this considered form wrapping? What I'm about to do? Maybe not. So let's do something like there you go, something like that, right? Okay, that's a bit better. Just to have a little bit of the sphere at the end to focus on, or like the bottom part. But I guess the best way I can describe form wrapping for anybody who's watching is, and again, these are all concepts that I've learned from ArtWod, ARTWOD, shill, right? Got a shill for them because they're the reason my skills have improved. Broken Draw did mention this one thing. Again, like this is technically his exercises that I'm doing, but funny enough, apparently he made his video based a lot on what I was already doing from my content. So technically, this is warming up, i.e. from Broken Draw, i.e. from Viggy. So it all comes back to me, right? I am the fucking the progenitor. I believe it's called the progenitor. I don't fucking know, bro. The titty man, that's me. But yeah, it's basically form wrapping. I guess I'll explain it again to essentially solidify my understanding. Is you have a shape, right? And the shape has many contour lines, especially, fuck me, I didn't mean to hit my tripod, but anyways, especially a sphere. For the sake, like a sphere is just curvical, right? A sphere is curvical, it has all these contour lines, right? And they just keep going infinitely, right? There's infinite amount of these contour lines. I'm doing a fucking amazing example, by the way, of showing what I'm trying to show. But the point is, sphere is curvical, blah blah blah, right? This is a sphere. You know, we have infinite of these, and all based on the orientation, but That's the point, is that a sphere is curvical, its contours are curvical, and it's an infinite fucking perfect circle, which is the goddamn most annoying part. But it's beautiful. Because now if I want to make a shape out of this, I have to think about how curved it is, right? I have to really, really think about how curved it is. You see? Just trying to follow the contours. And what the fuck am I? What am I doing? what was the point I was making? Yeah, we can do something like this, right? And now you kind of got like some armor-like shape. But again, following the contours, the spherical contours. You see, this one doesn't make too much sense because there's no straight lines really in a sphere, right? They're all following a curve. Technically, if you looked at this head on, this could look straight, but push it out of perspective and it's a curve. I don't know if this made any fucking sense. This is probably a horrible example. I'm just gonna focus on doing my own thing. Leave the teaching to Antonio from ArtWod. ARTWOD. Join their beginner roadmap. do your freemium shit. So now I want to actually also do some form combinations. Not exactly form combinations, but this is going to be a great way to reinforce my perspective knowledge as well, which is I'm going to add some additional we're going to add more forms is basically what I'm trying to say. Right, what am I doing? I'm attaching a cylinder and its forms to I'm adding a form wrapped cylinder to this fucking sphere. Jesus Christ, this is why you need to focus, guys. That's why it's very hard to focus while drawing, because you end up becoming a bumbling artiste like moi. See, I'm trying to make it look unique. And by unique, I'm just trying to focus on the form, of course. Right? There you go, something like that. Cool, right? Actually looks pretty interesting. Let me rest my brain. And I did try to keep the sphere and cylinder in mind as much as I could. Maybe for the time being, this is the size that's I'm clearly comfortable with. And I keep going back and forth on how large I want to draw, because at the end of the day, the goal is creating the Animorphs manga, right? 20 to 30 years from now, you know? And that does require, if I'm going to draw it on relatively an A4 page, I will have to be able to create fine details and smaller images with this brush pen and whatever other tools I pick up along the way. I used to be very specific about only wanting to do it with this pen, but this will probably be the primary pen, and other things will add to it. But anyways, let me fucking rest my brain. Nobody needs to know about the plan yet. So yeah, I was listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast yesterday. As I do, I just jerk off to the big words that he says. And this one was specifically about big words regarding how to learn skills faster, right? And one of the main things was regarding making lots of errors, right? How to use errors to accelerate your skill growth. And it's true, like the more errors you make, the better, what's it called? Like the more something about like the fucking mapping of our brain shifts to accommodate those errors. Essentially, the whole point is if you're not making errors, your brain doesn't have a reason to correct those errors, right? That's a layman's explanation. And one pivotal thing that he said, and is what I always try to practice, but I basically listen to these to just remind myself of how to learn. You know, if I ever feel like I'm slipping. For the past week, I felt as if I wasn't really in the learning zone. So I listened to this and now I'm back in the learning zone because I'm like, oh shit, this is how we do it. And it gets me hyped up, right? So one big thing is when you're making these errors, you essentially associate feelings of happiness is the main thing. Like you want to associate feelings of happiness, you know, like you're gaslighting yourself is the whole point. Gaslight your brain into enjoying making mistakes, because that's how also you can learn a lot better. At least that's the way he put it. Obviously he didn't say the word gaslight. He said some other shit. That probably sounded much better than saying fucking trick yourself. But okay, this is my sphere. Just trying to think out loud on the curves I'm trying to do. Something like this? Could be. Could be. Okay, and then this is like the other part of the curve, and then we got something like this, right? Now we need to make this look a lot more three-dimensional. Because right now it doesn't look that three-dimensional. No. Something like that, maybe? Oh, but then I shouldn't have... Maybe something like that. Doesn't really look like it's curved around a sphere too much. Maybe I can... Nope, I feel as if I completely lost it here. So why don't we try it again over here. Right, again, like the sphere I had in mind was roughly something like this, but something like that, right? But I lost the three-dimensionality. I wasn't thinking, I think it's the back end, like it needs to have more of an elliptical curve, which is something I lost. Like I lost sight of that, so I need to try that again. Right, so again, sphere's right here. Maybe something like, okay, it's the sphere. Right, and it's going all the way around. I want to... This is like the edge of the sphere, right? Something like that. Now, how can we make this look three-dimensional from the back? Because if this is the sphere, then... something like that, right? Is that more correct? That does feel like it's more part of a... it's surrounding a spherical shape, or form wrapping around a spherical shape. But again, same with this one. Something like that? Difficult to say. Maybe even if I had something like... kind of wrapping around over here. No, that doesn't make any sense either. Let me try it again over here. If we had one like this. Again, I know this is... it's purposefully hard. I'm trying to make it purposefully hard. Because if I don't... okay, well, I kind of messed it up here. Yeah, but if I don't make it difficult on myself, then I'm not learning anything, right? And I'm not really pushing my brain to focus. That's another thing when it comes to learning, is the fact that focus is expected to Like you're expected to go in and out of focus as well. That doesn't make any sense either. It's sort of getting there in terms of being quote unquote wrapping around a spherical shape, but not quite. I'm gonna do one more and then I'm gonna rest my brain. Something here, right? We could do something. Well, we could, again, this is like a simple one, but I do want to try having something more complicated as well, right? So if this is the globe or the sphere, right? And again, the lines need to be very precise. Something like that, right? And then what if... See? Okay. That kind of looks like it's surrounding a sphere more. And then we could do something like... Okay, if it's the bottom half. And... something like this. That's kind of my skill gap at this point, right? Is... Yeah, is the fact that like when it's that small, I'm able to visualize it much better. But I need to get out of that. I need to be able to draw it bigger. So I think like this size relatively is what I should aim for. But it's good. Like this, I'm working my brain, and I just need to expand the sort of the scope, the general area of which I could visualize a particular form, right, as the base. So good, yeah, good shit. I'll probably do this again today. This is really fun. I used to be in a rush to do everything because I still have crazy scooters and the bots and the figures and portraits and all this shit that I've set up, like cars. What else, right? Beginner roadmap, right? Sci-fi loot box, all this shit that I've set up in terms of my practice. But this is my 5-year plan now. Like getting good at just drawing all of these things that I've set up in my block. This is the 5-year plan block, right? Or block plan or whatever. So there's no rush anymore because for the next minimum 3 years, I'm saying like 5 years total of drawing. So yeah, for the next 2.5 years, I'll just be focusing on these things and building my library for these things, And for reference drawing, it's just 3 extra things, which is guns, tanks, and airplanes. There's a lot you can do by just having that, and then like fucking portraits, cars, and all that shit. That's a good amount. So I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush, and the more skilled I get, the easier it will be to learn other things as well, right? Like pick up the visual language and the shape designs for other things. So yeah, I'm in no rush. Right, I was in a rush, but now I'm kind of chilled out, man. So let me rest my brain. Oh, I'm sure that's like my new soundbite, the fucking sound of the door closing and everything just spazzing out next to my room. But it's what happens when you're not self-sufficient and you're reliant on your parents like a fucking leech. Hashtag swag. But anyways, okay. So we could do something like... Okay, see? Yeah, this is a form wrapping technique. Because again, this is the overall thing I'm trying to imagine. I'm not trying to aim for perfection. I'm just trying to really get it down. Again, I know a lot of people do this form wrapping with the guidelines, but fuck that shit. We're trying to be better than the guidelines. We are the fucking guideline. So again, I need to keep reinforcing the sphere that I've set for myself. Something maybe like this. Right. Right. Maybe could have been a bit lower. Okay, now how would this look? Because it is gonna... This is probably a bit incorrect. But can I salvage this is the real question. It's all about problem solving, right? So let's... see if I can salvage this. Maybe it doesn't seem like it. I feel like I already made the mistake. The mistake comes from... yeah, because now this sphere is a lot smaller than it needs to be, right? So let's leave this. To be honest, I already made the mistake, so why even try pursuing anything more? But clearly, sort of this type of shape is what I need to work on, right? Where things are... I need to think about the overall contour. Right, something like that. That is basically what I'm getting into, like what I'm trying to imagine. So again, if this is the sphere, maybe we can leave it as this. It's a lot going on, and it's difficult, of course, because you need to keep everything in mind, right? If I can do something like that, you know, this is going to be a bit smaller, I'd like to think. Like, yeah, technically, I don't need to think this deeply, right? Likely, I don't need to think this deeply, but the more I can see the grid, the easier it's going to be in the long term for me, you know? And now I just need to finish this ellipse, because now everything is a lot smaller, so... I could literally just do maybe close it off to reinforce what I know. Like so. Just turn it into like another ribbon. Right? It's a bit better, and it's bigger than that, so we're making progress, you know? But that's the main thing I want to focus on. And I know I said I'd add more cylindrical shapes. Like I did it once, and then I completely forgot about it. But let's see. Something like that. Right, a little bit of form wrapping for the shits. And maybe it just ends like this. Technically, I don't know if this is form wrapping. It might be, but we'll leave it like that for now, right? Antonio came out with a video today, Art Watch channel. Antonio was like, 6 principles I think they don't teach you in art school, and they should, or some shit like that. Obviously much more clickbaity and nicer sounding, but one of the main things he said is the fact that creativity with shapes and forms is what allows you to become a good problem solver, which he believes that creativity is sort of the key to unlocking quote unquote higher levels of your intelligence, right? Your potential, whatever. And I think there's truth to that, you know? Once you start learning form in this way, you definitely start looking at the world as more shape-like, and you start trying to think about how things function and how they attach, right? Am I smart enough to fucking just look at something and analyze it yet? No. That'll come with years of experience, where I'll actually have the knowledge to understand pivots and stuff, which is why that CubeBots workout is going to be very helpful, because knowing how pivots work, but versus being able to draw pivots and hinges and ball and joints, completely different types and different angles and different ways they function and attach to each other, that's going to take years. But once you can do that, you kind of understand the mechanics of a lot of things, right? Our world is really just, it hinges on the hinge. Fucking hilarious joke. But Anyways, okay, let's do more spheres, right? Okay, so I got something like this, so why don't I... Okay, so if it's like that... Okay, how do I want this to go? I could have it go... maybe like this? Like that. Don't know if that's super accurate. Then... this one could come around like that. Right. And this one will go around that way. Again, like if I can see this sort of ellipse shape, right, and start to base things off that, it should be a lot easier to and I realize I'm drawing over right now, which I don't really like to do, but I am doing in this instance just because it was a mistake. So yeah, in this case, maybe this one can be something like it's going around and then it's sort of attaching in this manner, right? More of a curved manner. And then we can, this is the first top half. And yeah, like visualizing this bottom half is more difficult, but doesn't mean it's not doable. Right? Because I can just do something like this. Because the sphere is closing. I have to remind myself of that. The sphere is closing and getting smaller. The ellipses themselves are getting smaller, which is important to note. Right? Again, this curve is not curved enough, so that's just something I need to work on when it comes to my line work. So the most important thing is to constantly see that little the underlying ellipse. Now this ellipse ended up becoming a bit less of a perfect sphere and it's a bit elongated, but the skill is getting there. I think the skill is definitely I'm getting there, slowly but surely. And yeah, like once again, the sphere is the hardest thing. Anything elliptical, I will keep saying it. I genuinely think doing any sort of shape combinations, manipulations, wrapping, whatever, right? The sphere is the hardest thing, you know. Second to none, except my dick. So as long as you focus on the hardest thing, it should be fine, right? That's my belief. I'm trying to think, how would the shape work? Something like that, maybe. Again, contours are very difficult. Again, elliptical contours is the hardest fucking thing known to goddamn all artists everywhere, I would assume. Right? If it's not difficult for them, then please teach me your ways. Because right now, it's extremely hard. And that's going that way, like that. This is incorrect. I'm well aware this is incorrect. But I still need to see it through, right? And it would be nice, maybe, if... well, I guess this one kind of comes across like this. Okay, I'll leave that for the time being. Obviously, just mistake on my end. But again, maybe I'll just do another one here. If this is the sphere, how could I... Right? It's kind of... This, I guess this is how a crown would be made, right? You're just wrapping it around the sphere. I still think that has issues. But if we were to make it to indicate that this is where the sphere closes, it would be something like this, right? And then we could just close the sphere like so. Yeah, and that'd be a solid shape. But hey, working on it. Let me rest my brain. It's good stuff. Yeah, another thing Huberman says is don't run away from the difficult things. I think that's just obvious when it comes to art or skill learning in general, right? But this is regarding specifically making errors, right? So what that means is I need to not run away from the difficult task of the larger ellipse or the larger sphere, right? It's very likely that I need to continue pursuing this size. I did that where I was like, okay, this is too much right now. Well, now I'm going to do smaller ones. But now I've done enough smaller ones. Then I've gotten slightly better at them. So it's time to raise the stakes, as they say. And that can only be done by consistently making things more difficult, right? Again, and I think this needs to happen often. It's curved like that. Yeah, this just definitely needs to happen often. Okay. Let's start with something simple then. Need to constantly be thinking about the overall sphere, right? Now this could be wrong. It likely is. But perhaps if I connect it like so. Which is also already wrong. But now this looks a bit better. Now this does look a bit better. Now I just need to close it off. And that can only come through. I'm not gonna close it off like because I can't anymore. I have to make sure I'm not hitting any of these. But that's already wrong, I'm pretty sure. But I do have to try. And I have to think about what the top of this ellipse would be, so it would be something like this. I guess I apologize if I am murmuring. I need to work on that, right? And maybe to really showcase that I understand this form a bit better, maybe it can be something like this. Right, this is the back, this is the back, and this is the entire thing. Right. It doesn't really work. So, we'll do it again. Because again, I'm learning, right? This is the beautiful part, is when you retrain your brain to seek errors, right? I roll my R's a bit too much. I'm too whitewashed. But, oh yeah, Broken Draw, I told him my real name and how it's pronounced, and he's like, fuck. Because he has another friend with that name. And he's like, have I been whitewashing him the entire time? I will get back to you. And I'll tell you, yes, you have been. You fucking piece of shite. Be better. Be like me. But, okay. Let's do another one. Yeah, these big ass ones need more, definitely more thought. Okay. The best thing you can do is keep thinking about the perspective, right? That's all we can do. And you'll see that I'm kind of falling back to this ribbon when I'm trying to establish what I understand, right? I feel as if it's a good way to keep that in mind. It's not going to be perfect, but it should be a pretty decent way to remind me of the perspective, hopefully. Right? Because now that we've established this, it's around here somewhere, right? Hopefully. So that means it's basically closing off around here. It's not perfect because now this looks like it's extending it more, which isn't good. But again, if I were to maybe, is this a lost cause? This might be a lost cause. It already looks a bit off. But maybe I can salvage it, perhaps, by. And the lines also are way too straight, right? Yeah, see, the lines are also wonky. So there you go. It's fine. It looks messy, but it's better than what this was, right? Slowly but surely. We should always focus on, as Antonio says, simplicity. You know, simplicity and really just trying to make sure we understand what we're doing rather than trying to rush ahead. So let's keep going. The more we practice the skill, the better we get at it, right? The more you make errors, the more you want to cry. That's how we do. Okay. So I could do something like that. This is going around. That's wrapped across the top of the ellipse. And this can be wrapped to the bottom of the ellipse, maybe. Perhaps it wasn't done as efficiently as I thought, but it's getting there. You know, this is the beautiful thing about art, is the fact that I never thought I would have been able to fucking, I'm speaking way too fast. I never thought that I would have been able to do this a year ago, right? But now here I am, telling you that I never thought I would have been able to do this, which is beautiful in and of itself. And you know, it's really, really nice knowing that your efforts can pay off. It's a really nice feeling. So this ended up becoming way too narrow of an ellipse, but I'm sticking with it, or of a sphere. Like too squat, right? But this is what I'm working on, is I guess the main thing is just, can I use a few shapes to define this larger sphere, right? And then once I can do that, then I can start really breaking it down. So maybe I should focus on that as well. Again, you're gonna keep hearing me say, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. But this is how problem solving works, right? I think one quote unquote advice that I can give to people who maybe aren't as quote unquote skilled as me or anything, right? or you're struggling or whatever, is just don't feel, I guess, don't limit yourself when it comes to your own curiosity, you know, because there will always be things that can be done better, always, like literally always. There will be things that can be done better. So just focus on what you can do right now, you know, because yeah, I can look back at how I practiced initially and be like, oh, I wish I did it like this. You know, this would have been so much more efficient. This would have been better. But at the time, with the knowledge that I had, this was the most efficient, you know? And that's fine. It's completely fine. It's just about doing what you can, right? There you go. See, now I've used three shapes to define, to my ability, to the best of my ability, a more elliptical or spherical shape, right? Informing it, because is it super correct? Probably not. And this would be. Is that even right? I don't know, actually. I don't know if it's following the contour correctly. And this is why I don't edit my videos either, to be honest, is so, apart from retention and making sure I get all the ad revenue, the primary reason, of course, is to ensure that... hold up. I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I need to think about this one. So, like, that, maybe. But yeah, no, it's to ensure that everybody who watches this now or in the future, because this channel will blow up. It's a guarantee. You know, nobody doing what I'm doing, nobody sharing what I'm doing, and nobody being as disciplined as I am when it comes to sharing what I'm doing, right? It's an inevitability that I will get huge, or I'll just kill myself when 10 years from now I'm still getting 80 views per video. So, you know, it's a win-win, right? The sweet release of death or the sweet release of financial freedom, one way or another. But yeah, no, art takes time. Art is a very slow process, right? It's been 42 minutes and I've drawn like what, 8, 9, 10 things. So that's a huge reason why I'm not editing things, apart from sheer laziness, of course. Okay. Yeah, it's more laziness than anything. But, you know, I have to set up the narrative that I'm actually a much better person than you think I am. Is this working? Maybe, maybe not. It doesn't really look like it's wrapped around spherical shape. This was correct, but Jesus. No, that was a forced one. I was trying to get it out. But yeah, I think it's really important to showcase the fact that art takes a lot of time, which is why I do suggest keeping me on in the background. Did I beg for likes this video? Fuck, I think I did. I can't remember. But no, that's actually a huge reason as to why I do this as well, because I think beginners actually don't understand how much work it takes. Like, genuinely, they don't understand how much work it takes. So here I am telling you, look, at the minimum, 1 hour, 5 days a week. And again, as my schedule gets a bit more free sometimes, like 2 hours, right, some days. But this is what it takes at the minimum. So you have to be prepared for that. Okay, how would this look? Kind of be straight here. trying to think, how can I express that this is larger without losing sight? Would that work? Kind of. Not really, but kind of. Anyways, let me rest my brain and then I'll do a bunch more here. And hopefully by then, not only do I not lose this video, because I'm probably building up the fucking storage as we speak, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm just trying my best, and you should all try your best as well. I believe in you. If you couldn't, if you're not watching the video, I did this. Hope you can hear that. There you go. Like, anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm crying because I was recently beat by my mother for crying, so you know, it's a positive feedback loop. But yeah, honestly, the tonal whiplash of my own conversations during this channel also fucked me up. Because I go from talking about jerking off and shit to being like, you can do it, I believe in you. I wonder what it's like listening to that. And if you are listening to that, like and subscribe. But yeah. Okay, I have like 15 minutes left. So let's, as always, really take our time. Okay, so I know I didn't really commit to the whole cylinder thing. It does look really cool, right? Actually, it does look really cool. But again, this is so much easier now because I can do the spheres. So I need to think about doing larger spheres. So again, I need to think about the contours. Is this okay? Let's see. It's not perfect. Hopefully it makes more sense. Okay, so I definitely know that it needs to be smaller here. Let's use language to inform our decisions. We know it's going to be smaller here. If we want to create a wraparound, we can, but we also know it's going to be wrapping around less. And this is essentially the end of the sphere, right? It's like that. So that's okay. This is the issue, because it should have been more curved. I didn't curve enough, should have been a lot more curve. And this one should have been less curve. Again, I didn't think about this properly, but if we were to continue to reinforce our knowledge, right? If this is how we're going about it, it would have been something like this. In terms of the curve, right? This we can have followed. I don't know if this is correct, so again, bear with me. That's a bit too straight. We can even maybe do something like this, right? And this way I can actually bring it back to, this one would have been more further out. With this we could do something like that. See? So with this we can sort of, because I just quote unquote opened up a little sneak peek, I can make it look more legit in terms of following the form, right? It's not perfect, and I think the spherical nature of it is lost a little bit, but just doing my best, right? Gotta keep doing my best not to lose that sphere. And I have what, roughly like 1, 2, 3, 4, or like 3 spaces left. So I guess I should take even more time, which is the biggest thing. Is I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to take my time, but I'm also trying to not lose the quality of line as well, right? So I could do something like, it's like while you do this, you always have to be mindful of the shape you're basing it on. Almost like a magneto helmet, I guess. Again, I'm always trying to visualize it to the best of my ability. Right? So that's this part, the sphere. But I guess this is one way to reinforce the spherical shape as well, right? Then even here I could do something like, it is going to get a bit smaller. Of course, I do struggle with this angle in terms of just holding the pen quite a bit, right? So I don't know if that gets across that this is the bottom plane, it's a side plane. Or sorry, this is the front plane, that's the back plane, but it's like going alongside it. Don't know if that works. Again, it's like, how do you make an ellipse on a spherical shape? Technically, you should be able to, like this, but again, we can't lose the sphere, right? This is actually a pretty good way to, if I do these cutouts, to sort of showcase what's happening behind and to reinforce the shape for myself. Right, so if I can do that, we can do something like, maybe that reinforces that the back plane is going around spherical manner. Not sure, but I think it looks okay, right? I just need a way to sort of top this off, but maybe it can just be done like this, right? More like not really a form wrapping, but just, yeah, 3D indicator. There you go. I think that looks okay, and it's bigger. That's not bad. It's slowly getting there. So let me rest my brain again. Good shit. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a video series way down the line. Let's say when I hit, I don't know, 5+ years of total art experience in terms of like the practice I've been doing, I'm definitely going to make a video. Not a video, but it'll be like a video. Video. Good voice crack. It will be a video series which will detail. What the fuck was I saying? Yeah, which will essentially be teaching people concepts in my way. Of course, it'll be like teaching. I already have the title. It'll be like teaching you morons blank, right? Because my whole channel shtick now is just being an asshole. So got to make sure that branding is on point. Branding is a huge part of channel success. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But I'll be teaching people perspective and how I understand it, right? I want to start from the very beginning, being like, essentially just make it. The whole point of it is I want it to be a step-by-step series on how, essentially, to not draw like me, but to showcase how I got to the point I did at that point and even now, right? And to kind of launch pad off of that, you know. Well, you don't know, but you will know. I don't know what the fuck I keep saying, but anyways, let me just. Okay, we'll make this the final sphere right here. But I'm not a rapper. Actually, we can actually add to this as well, now that I look at it. Can actually just follow this. Just reinforce that. This is basically the end, right? There you go, something like that. Sort of reinforces the elliptical nature of the shape. I think makes it a little bit better. This I am still kind of not sure whether it outlines what I want to outline, but I think it's okay. I'm slowly starting to understand the contours better in my mind, right? That's the thing. You're basically just jerking yourself off in your brain and then applying it on paper. That's basically what art is. You're like, I can see it, and then over time you end up seeing it, and you're like, oh yeah, I can put it down when I see it. Right? Put it down on me, as the golden ages used to say. Golden ages? Yeah, golden age. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Anyways, let's see. Right. Something like this. Be bigger, because obviously we're on the bigger side here. I'm trying to just keep it in my mind to the best of my ability, right? Something like this. And then we have it going all the way around like so. Something like that. It's a bit better. It's a bit better. Now, we just need to close this off now, so I can just do what I did before, which is make a 3D shape, right? There you go. Kind of closes it off there. Again, it's way too big, actually. The contours I established and then the way I made about it ended up becoming too big, which isn't amazing, but probably should have made this bigger. I don't think I saw the sphere as well as I thought I did. But even then, there's a lot of things you can do, I'd like to believe. Yep, line quality taking a hit. And okay, if this is the sphere, this is basically the point where it'll end. Not amazing. Actually, this is way too big. Not really a sphere whatsoever. Maybe I should just do a smaller one right here. Because what, I have exactly 59 minutes. This will be a short video. Short for me, as in I'm going exactly at the hour mark, right? I don't want to lose any content. Content. This is good content. You're paying for this. Actually, YouTube is just scamming the shit out of you. That's why you should just watch all my videos and give me my watch hours. At least you can give me money instead of YouTube. Am I right? So, let's do. Something like that, right? Should have been a bit further apart, but it's okay. And then, oh, that should have been a bit of a wider degree, but I guess that's also okay. That should definitely have been a wider degree. But hey, that looks like it wraps around lips pretty well. Definitely should have been a wider degree though. Um, okay, I'm gonna leave it at this for now because otherwise it's gonna get muddled here. But yeah, good practice session. Fucking, I had fun. I tried my best. Grinded my brain. I feel as if I'm slowly getting better, which is how learning works. But oh god. Okay. Again, I don't know why I burp so much. So yeah, here it is. Right, that's the lore. Why do you do such a thing? As what the fuck was that guy's name from Sword Art Online, where he's just like, I don't know. Yeah, that's my reason. I'm not too sure why. There's your fucking 24 episodes of plot concluded in one sentence. But this fucking shit plot. uh, but you know, it was a nice little spectacle, so that was cool, I guess. But yeah, what the fuck? What do I usually beg for? Oh yeah, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe if you got to this point. You fucking idiot! You absolute moron! If you already got to this point, I actually know there's with the way my fucking fans, quote unquote fans, work. There's a subset of you pieces of shit who are specifically being petty and not giving me my likes and subscribes because you live rent free in my head and vice versa. So please just give it to me. I'm desperate. I hate my life, and the only thing keeping me going are fake engagement, internet points, right? So, with that being said, great session as always. Fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please give me money.